Right now, you are probably working a job, or preparing for one, or recovering from one. But for most of human existence, jobs did not exist. No applications, no interviews, no 2-week notices.
As the sun set, early humans sought the safety of the riverbanks, a routine defined by the rhythms of nature.
So what did they actually do all day? The answer is not what you would expect. Let's clear something up. Ancient humans were not lazy. They worked hard, but their work looked nothing like ours. There were no specialists. No one introduced themselves as a hunter or a gatherer, like it was a career path. You did what needed doing. You did what needed doing, when it needed doing, and then you stopped. Anthropologists have found something truly shocking. These groups, living similarly to our ancestors, work roughly 3 to 5 hours per day. That is it.
The rest of the time, social activities, rest, play, storytelling, making things, just existing. Compare that to the average modern worker.
8 hours at the office, commute time, checking emails at night. We call this progress. But here is what is strange.
As the sun rises over the river, early humans would begin their day by seeking fresh water and taking a moment of rest.
They had abundant food sources in most regions. Hunting and gathering, when you know what you are doing, is efficient. You do not need 40 hours a week to feed yourself when you are eating what grows naturally around you. Early humans gathered around the fire, sharing stories and strengthening their bonds through laughter. Women gather for 3 to 5 hours, usually in groups, talking the entire time. By afternoon, they are done. The evening is for socializing, games, music, and rest. Children play without structured activities. No one is optimizing their productivity. Massive amounts of unstructured, unhurried time. Time to develop intricate knowledge of their environment. Time to create art. The oldest known cave paintings are over 40,000 years old. These were not made by professionals during work hours. They carved flutes from vulture wings. They told stories complex enough that we still tell versions of them today. None of this was their job. It was just life. So when did jobs actually begin? The shift happened about 12,000 years ago with agriculture. And it was not an upgrade. When humans started farming, something unexpected happened. They began working more, not less. Farming demands constant labor, planting, weeding, harvesting, storing, protecting crops from animals and other humans. Fields do not take days off. Skeletons tell the story. When archaeologists compare the bones of hunter-gatherers to early farmers, the farmers show more signs of physical stress. Disease and malnutrition. Their teeth are worse. They are shorter. They die younger. Agriculture did not make life easier. It made survival possible for more people in one place. But those people worked harder and lived shorter lives. And once you are farming, you cannot just leave. Hunter-gatherers could move when resources depleted. Farmers were stuck. They had invested months into crops. They had built permanent structures. They had to stay and defend what they had created. That is when ownership became important. When you are nomadic, you cannot own much. You carry what you need. But farmers accumulate. They store grain, they claim land. And suddenly, some people have more than others. Then comes specialization. In a hunter-gatherer group, everyone knows how to do most things. But in agricultural societies, people who only do one thing. And if you only do one thing, you need other people to survive. You need to trade. You need systems. You need hierarchy. That is where jobs came from. Not from progress, but from dependency. Once you specialize, you are trapped. A potter cannot just decide to stop making pots and hunt instead. They have lost that knowledge. We never chose this individually. It happened gradually, over thousands of years, as societies grew larger and more complex.
By the time anyone realized what had been traded away, it was too late to go back.
But what exactly did we trade away? We traded autonomy for security, and we have been trying to get it back ever since. Hunter-gatherers made decisions as groups. There were no bosses. No one could force you to do anything.
If you did not like how the time things were going, you could leave. Anthropologists call this fierce egalitarianism.
It was not a political philosophy. It was survival. Groups that let one person dominate did not last. But jobs require hierarchy. Someone owns the land, the tools, the product. Someone else provides the labor.
That is not collaboration. That is a power structure. And once that structure exists, it spreads.
Early cities had kings, priests, merchants, and laborers. The laborers worked the hardest and owned the least.
They could not leave because they had nowhere to go. All the land was claimed. All the resources were controlled.
Freedom became something only the wealthy could afford. For most of human history after agriculture, the average person worked from sunrise to sunset.
Farmers, servants, laborers. They worked until their bodies gave out. This was not a career. It was survival. The concept of a job as we know it, something separate from your entire existence, did not really solidify until the Industrial Revolution.
Factories needed workers at specific times doing specific tasks. You did not work your land anymore. You sold your time.
8 hours, 10 hours, 14 hours a day in a building you did not own, making products you would never use. Children worked in coal mines. Women worked in textile mills, breathing cotton fibers that destroyed their lungs.
People died in factory accidents so often that it barely made the news. This was progress. This was civilization.
Labor movements fought back. Unions demanded weekends, 8-hour workdays, safety regulations. These were not gifts from generous employers. They were won through strikes, violence, and decades of resistance. The 40-hour workweek was a radical demand in 1926.
But here is what is strange. We won those battles, and then we just stopped. We accepted that 40 hours a week was reasonable.
We built our entire society around it. Mortgages, car payments, insurance, retirement plans. Everything assumes you will keep working. And it is still not enough. Productivity has exploded since the 1970s. Technology was supposed to free us.
This work never ends. Computers, automation, the internet. We produce more per hour than ever before in human history.
Work hours did not decrease. We just work harder. The average American now works more hours per year than a medieval peasant. That is not an exaggeration. Medieval laborers had Sundays off, plus saints' days, harvest festivals, and long breaks in winter.
This work never ends. Computers, the modern American works over 1,800 hours, 1,800 hours. We have medicine, but we are more stressed. We have abundance, but no time to enjoy it. Because jobs are not just what we do anymore, they are who we are. When you meet someone, the first question is, what do you do? This work, who are you? What do you love? What makes you feel alive? Your job is your identity.
Lose your job, and people think you have lost your purpose. But for 290,000 of the 300 years humans have existed, they had skills, roles, contributions. They had community. They had time. And they were us.
Same brain, same capacity, same need for meaning. We did not evolve to sit in chairs under fluorescent lights.
Staring at screens, answering emails, attending meetings about meetings. We evolved to move, to create, to connect, to rest when we are tired, and work when we are motivated. Jobs are not natural. They are not inevitable.
They are just the system we inherited. And maybe, just maybe, it is worth asking if the trade was worth it.
Because we gave up a lot, and we are still paying the price. We call this civilization. We call it progress.